to 500, 4,500. If you got hurt, you gotta give them a try. Call my injury guy.
Hey guys, Chicago injury lawyer Scott DeSalvo here. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the 3 big deadlines that if you blow them in a personal injury case, you're in real trouble. You're in real trouble. So everybody talks about, and if you watch some of my other videos, you know that I have discussed what are called statute of limitations or filing deadlines in different kinds of cases. Usually it's 1 or 2 years in a personal injury case, and it's 3 years in a workers' comp case, but there are other deadlines. And so that's what this topic, the video is about today. Because I was talking to a guy and he's like, I know there's a 2-year deadline, but I watched a bunch of your videos and you said there's all kinds of deadlines. So this guy had a car crash case, so I'm going to focus on third party, car crash, dog bite, bar fight, these kinds of cases. There's 3 deadlines, 3 main deadlines that you have to worry about if you're in litigation on a personal injury case. So the first one is the one we already talked about, the statute of limitations. And different kinds of cases and different kinds of defendants, the people or companies you're suing, have different deadlines, all right? So the statute of limitations for most kind of like car crash and cases like that is usually 2 years. If you're suing a bar under what's called a dram shop action, meaning they overserved somebody, the drunk person injured you in a car accident or they attacked you or something like that, the dram statute of limitations in Illinois is 1 year. But in most cases like dog bite, fall down, car crash, motorcycle, truck, kind of cases, it's 2 years. Now, if you're suing a municipality, or what do I mean, a city, lawyers call it a municipality or a division of a municipality. What do I mean by that? You're suing a city. In other words, you're suing the Chicago Transit Authority, which is technically part of the city. You're suing a Chicago, some other department in Chicago. You're suing the Board of Education. You're suing a school. Well, it's a public school. It's part of a city. You usually got 1 year to file the case. So that's my point. It depends on the type of case and who you're suing, right? So even though it's usually 2 years, it could be shorter than that. And there are situations where it's longer than that. So, for example, a minor typically has 2 years, 2 years from the date that they reach 18 years old to file a lawsuit for their own personal injuries. Statute of limitations can be extended if you're physically or mentally disabled for a period of time and you recover. That will, pause. It'll hit the pause button, or it can, in your statute of limitations. And there are also doctrines that apply in cases like medical malpractice cases where it's called the continuing course of treatment rule and the discovery rule. So those 2 doctrines extend your typical 2-year deadline for suing a doctor or hospital, or at least they can, right? The second deadline that you need to be aware of is after you file a lawsuit, you have to be diligent in getting service on the defendant. In other words, you have to, if you're not able to get the sheriff to hand the defendant your complaint at the beginning of the lawsuit, that's called serving them, you have to be diligent in follow-up attempts. If you are not diligent in follow-up attempts, the court can dismiss your case. Then your case is over, and that's it. So at my office, we review service weekly. So we want to always make sure that we have service on everyone quickly. If we don't, we then follow up weekly on every case that's in litigation where we haven't gotten service. I want some action, some activity towards getting that done. Consequences are that the court can throw your case out if they don't believe you're diligent. They can do it on their own motion, or your opponent can file a motion, okay? What else? Third deadline is So, violating a court order or a discovery order by the judge. So, when you file an injury case in court, it gets assigned to a judge. The judge does regular case management conferences. So, that's really judge by judge how often they do them. I've been in front of judges who want you in there almost every 30 days. I've had other judges where they're happy to see you in 90 or 120 days. They don't, they're not going crazy on that kind of stuff.
Hey, you got hurt in an accident?
Yeah.
You got an injury guy?
No.
Then you gotta call my injury guy.
If you got hurt in any kind of accident or injury, call My Injury Guy. You can call anytime, day or night, for a free consultation. 312-500-4500.
I called my injury guy, and I'm glad I did. You should call my injury guy too.
Call my injury guy.
312-500-4500. If you got hurt, you gotta give him a try. Call my injury guy.
Now, what happens if the court writes an order and you make no attempt to comply with it? Bad things can happen. The judge can dismiss your case, which is very rare, but other sanctions are not that severe, but are far more common. So they can bar part of your claim, part of your damages. They can bar a witness. And remember, as the injured person, you have what's called the burden of proof. And if you can't bring the evidence that proves your case, you can go to trial and lose. The jury's never going to know why you didn't call the doctor as a witness or introduce any evidence of a wage loss or have the physical therapist come in and explain why the medical records say what they say. The jury will just be scratching their head, but they're limited in the actual evidence presented. And you can easily get a not guilty if you have evidence barred. The court can also do other things like fine you money if you're not keeping up the deadline. So those are the three big deadlines in civil litigation. The big deadlines in workers' comp, I think I've done more videos in workers' comp where I explain it in more detail. But in workers' comp, the deadlines we're talking about are more like, let's say, 3 years to file the case. So you have 3 years from the date of your injury to file the case. And there are some doctrines which can extend that deadline as well. And then, the other one is the 45-day rule, which means you have to report a work injury to your employer within 45 days. Now, you can do it orally. You can do it, orally or verbally. You can do it in writing. In writing is always better. But usually if you have some acknowledgement from them, they don't dispute that they received notice. If you can't prove that you gave them notice within 45 days, the arbitrator or judge at the commission can throw your case out. Same thing with the 3-year statute on those cases. So those are the big deadlines. I hope that info helps you. I mean, it's important to know because, listen, these deadlines exist whether you know about them or you don't. And a lot of people I talk to don't want to get a lawyer involved. They don't want to drag it out. They want to be fair. The problem with being fair is you're up against an insurance company and they don't care about you. They care about positioning you in such a way where they save money, and that them saving money means they pay you less money than you deserve or they pay you nothing. And that's what they like to do. Okay? That's just brass tacks about how these things about how these sorts of things work. And you have to be realistic about it. That's why I tell people, if you've been involved in an accident with an injury, it is so smart to get a lawyer involved early on, but it's got to be the right lawyer. I've done other videos, but you don't want the real estate lawyer necessarily being your personal injury lawyer, because do they know how injury cases work? In my opinion, it's probably better for you to go with an attorney who focuses his or her practice on injury cases, because there's always new procedures, always new rules. And, I think it would be impossible for an attorney to stay on the cutting edge of criminal law, real estate, personal injury law, and, wills and estates, trusts. I think, can a lawyer technically, ethically do all those things? Absolutely. In the state of Illinois, absolutely, that's true. Is it a good idea to go with somebody who's a generalist rather than somebody who has sort of focused their law practice on one or maybe two areas of law? In my opinion, it's usually better. But, it's like anything else. There's good and bad in every field. So the main thing to remember is quality injury lawyers are going to offer you a free consultation, and I encourage you to at least get a free consultation. You're going to get your questions answered for free. You're going to have some direction, but your best defense against these sorts of deadlines is having a lawyer on your side. So anyway, somebody has to get back to work, and so I got to wrap it up. So thanks for watching. Hope you and your family are well. Have a great day. And do me a favor, watch till the end. I have some killer offers that are completely for free for injured people that no other attorneys offer. You can check them out. I talk about them at the end of the video. They're free to use. People love them. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback about these tools that I offer to injured people for free, whether you're my client or not. So make use of them. Hope the information helps you, and have a great day. Take care.
Thanks for watching. If you or anyone you know has been hurt in an accident and needs a lawyer, or even just has questions, give me a call anytime, day or night, at 312-500-4500. You can call me anytime, day or night, and the consultation is free. That's 312-500-4500. Or if you're not ready to talk to a lawyer, I made 2 great tools that really help people out that you can use for free on my website. The links are in the description. The first one is called the Case Cash Calculator, and it tells you what your case might be worth. The other is called the Good Case Calculator, and it tells you whether you might have a good case or you might have a case with some challenges. The best part is that they're 100% free to use on my website, and it only takes you 20 seconds flat to answer 7 multiple choice questions right off the top of your head. And then you get custom information about your particular injury situation fast and for free. So check them out, links in the description. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel. I release 2 new videos every week, and this way you'll get notice of them. And if you have a question you'd like answered in a video, just leave a comment with your question in the comments section. Finally, if you enjoy my videos or if I've helped you in any way, I hope you'll consider doing me a favor. Injury law is a very competitive field, and I like having a small independent firm so I can help people who need it. People really rely on Google reviews when deciding who to hire, so I hope you'll consider leaving me a 5-star review on Google. It only takes a few seconds, but it's a favor to me that I would really appreciate. The link is in the description. You just go to that link, click 5 stars, say a kind word, hit submit, and you're done. Once again, I hope you and your family are well, and if anyone you know needs an injury lawyer or has questions, please send them my way by calling 312-500-4500. Thanks again for watching. Take care.
312-500-4500. If you got hurt, you gotta give 'em a try.